Hey everybody, I'm Joey and today we're talking pork steaks, a Midwest classic. I'll introduce you to some experts to learn more about this cut and how it's cooked. So follow me and let's turn up the tasty. We're gonna visit Goshen Butcher Shop, which has been located right here in Edwardsville since 1947, and that right there is decades of experience. We're gonna meet with the owner, Jeff, whose grandfather was a farmer, and he wants to continue the passion for quality meats. So follow me.
This was built in '47. It was affectionately called the meat locker or the locker plant. Back in the day, no one had freezers, and so there was a massively large freezer here with 600 lockers in it. We probably processed over 100 sides of beef every week, and the end product ended up in a locker. Mom would bring me up here as a kid, get on a ladder, get in the locker, get her meats for the week, and go home and make her meal.
Today we're gonna learn more about pork steaks. So Jeff, can you tell us exactly what is a pork steak?
So the pork steak itself actually started here in St. Louis with the Snooks family, but it comes off the pork shoulder. You've seen the bone that's in it. It's actually the scapula. It's also been referred to as a picnic roast, as a Boston butt, and I think Mike and team will tell you more about that a little bit later. But it's an age-old cut, and here in St. Louis they invented a way to take that shoulder and put it into a more affordable steak for families to put on the grill.
Well, this is the pork shoulder here. And when you slice it, you want to slice it this way here. That way, you always want to go through the bone through the bandsaw first. That way it comes out a nice even steak.
Okay, so we have a bone coming right through the middle of here, right?
Right here. You can see the bone right here.
Is there a standard size for cutting pork steaks?
Usually we cut them 3/4 inch, but you know, we have people come in and get them 1.5 inches, 2 inches.
All right, and just for everyone at home, now this is the exact same cut of pork we would use if we're gonna make pulled pork, for example, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. You just smoke the whole thing. Yeah, that comes out now.
Good to see you, man.
You too, Joe.
How you doing, brother?
Good, buddy. How you doing today?
Good. So how do you know the folks here at Goshen?
Well, I've been coming here since I was a little boy, and you know, obviously with what we're doing in Collinsville, Illinois, we like to team up with other local companies that are doing good for the community as well.
Sir, appreciate that. So you're gonna take and you're gonna show us today how to cook some of these pork steaks we just saw cut here in the shop, right?
Yes, sir.
Oh man, I'm so pumped for that. I mean, these guys, not only do they own a spice and sauce company, a barbecue company really, but you guys are also have won many awards for barbecue competitions as well, is that right?
We do. We've been competing roughly going on a decade now, I believe. Started off in the backyard. Chris just started running with it. Chris is the head dude in charge of the competition team. So lots of awards, but probably our favorite award is the Memphis in May Perfect Score for our sauce.
Awesome.
We have a first place National BBQ Sauce award as well. And this past year we took another Perfect Score at Memphis in May.
Awesome, man. Well, I'm looking forward to trying some of these pork steaks. I know you're gonna cook them a few different ways. I won't spoil it all, but follow me and we're gonna go back to Mike's kitchen and we're gonna see how it's done. hanging out with some friends here today in addition to Mike, and over here we have Dayton. Tell us a little bit more about what you're cooking over here, man. What are you seasoning it up?
We've got a tri-tip here, 2 of them, doing salt and pepper on the tri-tip. We got some pork chops, a couple of pork steaks over here. We're just gonna do salt and pepper on these bad boys, do something a little bit different, get a different taste.
Yeah.
I like salt and pepper on my beef. Tri-tip comes from Santa Maria, California. In the 50s, guy in Safeway used to chop this up for hamburger meat, and he's like, wow, we got too much hamburger meat. Let's try to slow roast this tri-tip, see what happens. That's where the tri-tip started, was in Santa Maria, California.
Right, so I love tri-tip. It's an amazing cut of beef for those of you at home who haven't tried it out. Can you tell us a little bit more about how you're gonna cook these once they're seasoned?
So I'm gonna do a 2-zone on this, actually on the PK over there.
Okay.
We're gonna set a 2-zone smoke. We're gonna have the tri-tip on the cold side is what I would call it, and do a reverse sear. Once we get an internal temperature of about 110 to 15 degrees, we're gonna sear it on the hot side.
Yeah.
That is the best way, in my opinion, to do a tri-tip.
Awesome, man. I'm getting hungry just hearing about it. I can't wait to see how they turn out. We're back with Mike from Code 3 Spices, and he's going to show us how to cook these pork steaks 3 different ways. He has an amazing collection of grills and smokers, so I'm truly excited to see what you make today. But first, like any good cut of meat, it begins with the seasoning. Mike, what are we going to use today, brother?
Well, today we got these pork steaks here. Today we're going to be using 5-0 rub. This is our sweet and zesty blend. We're going to just use this straight across the board. It's a nice blend. It's a lot of sweet on the front. Nice little pickup on the back. We'll show you here in a second on the Premier, but we're at about 160 right now on the Premier, and it just gives a nice mahogany color.
Yeah, so this is not a paid sponsorship. This is not a paid post. We're here showing you guys from the experts how to cook these at home. And Mike, I really love some of your spices and rubs, but my favorite is probably your backdraft rub. And I'll tell you, I think Frank's Red Hot is going to have to change their saying, because I put that shit on everything, man.
It's a good
truly
rub,
fantastic.
Man. We like it a lot. Chris developed all these blends. And one thing I like about the backdraft is that it does have a nice smoky flavor to it. So one thing I'm going to show you real quick while I'm doing this, just to give the people at home an idea. You don't have to go crazy. It's going to get a lot of flavor, but I do like to cover the entire surface. So I'm going to go a little lighter on this side when we flip these. I'm going to go heavy. So what I'm going to have Nathan do here, go ahead and flip those, and if you just want to.
This is just what we talk about in almost every video we make. Make sure to use liberal seasoning. A lot of times the seasoning will stick to the grill grates, stick to the smoker, so we want to make sure you add plenty to let those flavors shine through.
I go real heavy right down the center. It looks like a lot of rub. It is a lot of rub, but it's just enough to cake on top and settle. And after a couple minutes when we're done here, you're going to see how quickly this settles in. We use really high-end ingredients. We use turbinado sugar, which has an extremely high burn rate. And that's really a good key to producing a good product as well.
Awesome, man. Well, I'm looking forward to getting these things on the grill and in my belly. Mike's going to show us how to cook these pork steaks 3 different ways. So starting with the first method, can you tell us what we're using and how that makes a difference for the end product?
Yeah, absolutely. So today we're using a Hunsaker smoker. They're based out of Columbia, Missouri. Really good group of guys. This is a stainless. There's maybe only 2 or 3 of these made. This is my prized possession here. This is a hot and fast smoker. So basically what's nice about this, a lot of the competition guys on the circuit, they went hot and fast. 1, there's a lot of science behind it, but 2, you save a ton of time.
Yep.
You can socialize more, drink more with your buddies, get some more sleep and whatnot. But what I like about this is you can simplify the cook, because once it's pegged at 300, you just let it ride.
Sure. Now you said hot and fast, but this is essentially looks to me like a barrel smoker. Is that correct?
It is. It's a barrel smoker or UDS, ugly drum smoker.
Okay.
There's a lot of popular ones on the market. There's different variations of one. You have pit barrels, you have gateways, but I like to choose Hunsaker. 1, like I said, just a great family, and it's just a hell of a product.
Absolutely. So are all drum smokers hot and fast, or is that just how you're using this method today?
Well, I mean, ideally, you can bring it down to 225, 200 if you want. Sort of defeats the purpose. If you want to let this thing rip and cook it at 350, you can do that. Some guys will do that, especially with briskets and whatnot. I like it at 300. I know my times, and it's just easier and, like I said, more simplified.
Absolutely, man. So what are we going to fire this up with today?
Well, before we move on to the next one, we're using rockwood charcoal right here. So as you can see, it's a lump charcoal.
Yep.
It burns very hot. It burns very clean. And that's the other thing that people need to realize at home, is that there's a lot of different products on the market.
Yep.
So with this being clean right here, I got my bag of rockwood right here. If you pull through this bag, you're going to get different sizes of lump. If you run into a bigger piece, you can go ahead and break it in half and use it towards whatever advantage you're doing to light your fire. But this burns very hot, very clean, and just provides a really good taste.
Yeah, so taste profile wise, is it going to taste very similar to any other smoke? Is the main advantage here just getting it done quicker via hot and fast method versus slow and low method?
Well, it's interesting because, as you know, we have a barbecue supply in Collinsville.
Absolutely.
A lot of backyard guys, even enthusiasts, are moving to these just because you're saving time.
Yep.
Now, when we move over to the pellet smoker, you know, that's one of those things where basically, if you've got to cut the grass or go to Little Timmy's ball game or not want to have to manage the fire and worry about it, you just set it, forget it, let it go, right?
Right.
With this, it's almost the same way. I mean, as long as you have your pit dialed in, it's going to run at 300 for hours.
Awesome, man. Well, let's go ahead and get these pork steaks on the grill and move over to the second method. All right, so Mike, we're here with method number 2. Looks like we have a Weber kettle grill right here.
We do. This is the Master Touch. This is the new Ivory that just came out this year. I love Webers. The first thing I ever cooked on was a Weber kettle. They actually have a little Smoky Joe in college. Went up to the 18-inch, went up to the 22-inch, went up to the Weber Smoky Mountain. So I'm just a big fan of Weber grills. The reason I'm choosing this today is I grew up on not only Weber pork steaks, Weber grill pork steaks, but gas grill pork steaks.
Okay.
That hot sear. The one thing I like about this is that we're gonna get this hot with just Kingsford Original.
Okay.
It's not gonna be 2-zone. It's gonna be straight charcoal.
Okay.
So the thing about that is when you're cooking with a higher heat, you're gonna break down all the sugars in your sauce, and that's a key component to a good pork steak. I don't know if I've ever had a pork steak that wasn't sauced, and I've had thousands of them, as you can tell. But with that said, the one thing that's nice about cooking on a Weber is you can go direct flame. You know, we're not using any accessories like grill grates that are gonna eliminate any flare-ups.
Okay.
I want the flare-ups, so we're gonna have a spray bottle of water, and that's gonna help us manage the fire.
All right, and this is really a grill for the everyman. I know most people watching at home probably already have a Weber kettle grill right at home. So you talked about using Kingsford on this one. Can you tell us a little bit about why you're using Kingsford versus jumbo lump charcoal?
Well, like I said, rockwood charcoal, in my opinion, is the best lump on the market.
Yep.
But like I said, it burns hot.
Yep.
Burns really clean, like I said. With this is just going to burn more evenly. It's got a slower burn rate to it, so it's not going to get this thing 700 degrees. I want it around 600 degrees for direct flame.
Wow, so we're just going to get a pile of flames right in the middle, get them nice and hot, and put the pork steak right on top.
Correct.
Awesome. I can't wait to see how it turns out.
Good deal.
So we're back for the third and final way to cook pork steaks. Mike, can you tell us a little bit more about how you're cooking here?
Yeah, so basically, as I told you earlier, the pork steaks that we got from Goshen today are 3/4 inch.
Yep.
I like them a little bit thicker. I treat pork steaks like I do a pork butt on the pellet grill. So today we're using the Smoking Brothers 30P. It's a fantastic pellet grill. This is 792 square inches of cooking space. And I'm going to show you real quick what this looks like. We're probably, if I had to guess, we're probably around 160. It's about time to wrap them.
Okay.
But I only got 3 on here. Let me show you the color that this is going to put
Oh,
off.
I can't wait.
I'm using a cherry pellet from Lumberjack. That provides a nice mahogany. It goes really well with the 5.0 rub that we were using.
Yeah.
So, as you can see, it's already getting that beautiful mahogany. Okay, so we're sitting at about 150 to 160. This one's sitting at 155. We're gonna go ahead and take these off. We're gonna put them in some can't even talk, peach butcher paper. And we're gonna add some brown sugar, some honey, and a couple secret ingredients.
Yeah, so why are you gonna wrap them? I mean, what's the benefit of wrapping these up?
Well, like I said, I like treating pork steaks like I do pork butts.
Yep.
The wrapping process sort of pushes through the stall, gets them a little bit quicker. But ultimately, we're gonna take these between 200 and 205.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, again, can't wait. Now, for those of you at home, you may not know Mike was previously a police officer. Mike, can you tell us what you're using the cuffs for? Are these used for cooking, or can you tell us a little bit more about those,
They're
man?
not used for cooking. They're there for convenience in case I need them right away.
All right, man. Well, good. We're going to wait for these to get done and be right back. All right, so these are the pork steaks which have been on the pellet grill. And Mike, how long have they been smoking for?
These went on at 8 a.m. I don't know what time it is now.
Okay, about 1.
All right, so we're looking at 5 hours. We're at 160. As you can tell, like I showed you on that last part, beautiful color, man. Look at the color on that.
Absolutely.
So what we're gonna do,
Tasty.
absolutely. So what Dayton's gonna do here, he's gonna show you the wrapping process. We're using peach butcher paper. We're using CNH, pure cane sugar, brown sugar, some Kerrygold. And the other thing is too, I know our buddy Malcolm talks about it, but he likes using Amish butter.
Yep.
If you don't have access to Amish butter, this Kerrygold does great. And this is actually an unsalted butter from Kerrygold.
Now, for everyone at home who doesn't know who Malcolm is, he's talking about Malcolm Reed, who operates How to Barbecue Right, huge channel on YouTube around barbecuing and smoking. And so you said this is peach butcher paper, right? So why are you using this instead of, let's say, foil?
Well, for one, I think it's less cleanup. I think it adds a little bit more value when it comes to placing it on the grill and watching it soak and seep through. I don't know if there's a real big difference between peach butcher paper and aluminum foil. They both do the job.
Okay.
But I had some of this laying around, so I wanted to show the people how to do it with this process of peach butcher paper.
Awesome. So let's get them seasoned.
Cool.
I'm going to start with the brown sugar. Just put a little bed of that down first. Put a couple of pieces of butter down there. Go ahead and grab one of these things. Look at that. That's beautiful. Let's go ahead and put some of that honey on there.
So we've got some bee sting. We're using apple habanero today. We're not going to go crazy.
Woo!
Just enough.
A little more honey on there.
Turn up the heat on that meat, man.
Whenever we wrap this, you want to wrap it real tight. So I'm going to tuck that in, bring both my sides in. This peach paper, whenever it gets wet, the tensile strength on it is really strong. That moisture is not going to soak out of the bottom of that. We're going to put it on the smoker just like that.
Awesome.
Let's do another one.
Throw another thing of butter on there real quick, brother.
Do some more butter.
Never have too much butter.
There you go.
Should we do another one in slow-mo?
Slam it down.
Slam it down, get your butter, boom. Don't forget, very important, wrap it tight.
Now, when it comes to the brown sugar, is there any advantage to using, let's say, granulated brown sugar?
You know, I think it's personal preference. I mean, this is backyard cooking 101, so, you know, I know a lot of guys that compete professionally, they got different ways of doing things.
Yep.
For backyard purposes, I mean, that'll work and take care of what you're gonna do.
Awesome. Let's get these back on the smoker, let them reach temperature, and get ready to get hungry.
So one thing that I am gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and crank this up. I've got it set at 260 now. We're gonna push it through this process. Just gonna go back on here. And I would expect another hour and a half to 2 hours to be ready to go.
So what's the internal temperature we're going to hit on these when we know that they're done and ready to...
We're going to take these between 200 and 205.
Okay.
203 is the magic number. Here's the thing. Pork steaks have a lot of collagen. A lot of collagen. So that's another big reason that we do wrap most of the time. You want to break down that collagen because whenever that temperature gets to about 195 and higher, that collagen is going to break down and turn into a gelatin, and that's where you get your fat, your flavor, and all the good juicy stuff.
Right, so if we cook these to, let's say, USDA minimum of 145, Sounds like we're gonna end up with what I call a Michelin special. It's gonna be rubbery and tough to eat. Is that right?
It's gonna be rubbery, tough to eat, and the sad part about it, or the saddest part about it, is you're not gonna have as much flavor.
Right.
You wanna maximize your cook to yield the most flavor possible.
Yeah, and so when we go to that higher temperature, I think that's really gonna allow the fat to sort of really break down and almost melt in your mouth and be something that really complements the flavor versus gets in your way.
Exactly.
Right? Awesome. So Mike, I see we have some sauce out here. Can you tell us what you're getting ready to do now?
Yeah, we have a World Championship Patriot Sauce Original. What I like to do is take about a half gallon, put it in a half pan. I'll go ahead and do about 1/2 to 3/4 of our spicy.
Turn up the heat a little bit.
That'll give a nice little kick on the back end. And I'm gonna add a little bit of honey. That'll provide us a nice shine. And I'll add a little bit of brown sugar to it as well. What we'll do is we'll get this on a heating device, break down some of those sugars, and it'll be ready to go for saucing all of our pork steaks.
All right, so when do we sauce these things? Before we put them on, or what's the right time?
No, you don't want to sauce before. Saucing is the last part of the cook. As we covered earlier, the seasoning, you want that seasoning to settle, caramelize, and provide that nice color, and that color is going to provide a little bit of a mark or a crust depending on how hot you cook it, and that's going to be flavor. This is going to come on the backside towards the end of the pork steak cook.
All right, so for everyone watching at home, knowing that the saucing happens after they've been cooking for a little bit, is there a good internal temperature when you say, hey, now is the right time to sauce when it reaches 160, 170, what is that?
Since we're smoking on a Hunsaker, that's going to come towards the later part of the cook, same way with the pellet grill. But when we hop on the Weber kettle, we're going to sauce probably halfway through and just gum it up, break down all those sugars, and make it real sticky.
And we're going to wait a little longer on the Hunsaker because that's a hot and fast, as you mentioned earlier.
Correct.
Right?
It's probably going to take about 2.5 hours to rock those pork steaks on that Hunsaker.
Awesome. So we're going to get this on. We're going to get this heating up, right?
Yes, sir.
So we don't want to put it on cold.
No.
Is that correct?
No, you want to go ahead and get it heated up, break down those sugars, and that'll allow the flavor to come out.
Look at the temp strength on that. Hold all that moisture in there. There you go.
We're going to go ahead and let these rest for about 10 minutes.
One of our pork steaks is done. This is the one we did on the Weber Kettle Grill. We're having a few beers, and now I'm going to turn it over to the three bearded bros for a quick taste test. So dig in, guys, and let's see what you think.
Tell me, Clay.
This one.
Oh, I wanted that one.
I know, he did.
That's ridiculous.
You can really taste a little bit of that heat from the habanero honey.
Yeah, I think that's the star that shines, is that honey.
Yeah, and it tastes absolutely fantastic. So as three St. Louis area boys yourselves, I know you've had a lot of pork steaks. What do you guys think? Is this your preferred method for doing pork steaks? Do you prefer them smoked? What do you guys say?
I definitely like doing it this way. Get a smoky flavor to it, the sweetness of the sauce, and that habanero honey. That's a nice touch.
It really is. It has a nice char on the outside of it.
Char's great.
And one of the big advantages to cooking this way is you don't have to spend, as Mike said earlier, 7 hours standing around the smoker. We're just wrapping up here with Mike at Code 3 Spices. We've had a ton of great food. thanks for having us over today, brother. We had a blast.
It's been my pleasure, man.
Yeah, man, absolutely. So why don't you tell everyone at home, how can they find Code 3, you know, around the interwebs, or how to buy your products online?
We're all over the St. Louis area. We're in the majority of Ace Hardwares. You can go to our website at code3spices.com. In St. Louis, we're in Schnucks, Dearborn, Supplement Superstore, Straub's, HEB, Jewel Osco in Chicago. We're working our way across the country right now.
Awesome, man. Well, hey, if you're at home, you're looking for a great way to turn up the tasty on your next meal, go ahead and check them out. Now, Mike, let's get back to this delicious food.
Right on, brother.
All right, man. I'm here with a very good barbecue dog named Brisket, and we've had a great time today. I hope you have too. We've learned a lot about the history of pork steaks, how to cook them, and best of all, some of the great people of the barbecue world. We strive to show you in every single video how to cook meat made easy. And we hope we achieve that today. We hope you like the video. So follow me as we continue our adventures of cooking meat made easy. Now, let's turn up the tasty.